Got a lot going on this morning. Like I said, the media is unpacking everything against the President of the United States. And Josh, let's show everybody how to get in touch with the show. Now, the despicable Democrats, and I will tell you this, I don't want to waste time on the show, but every time I think about, no matter who it is, a Republican, Democrat, or anybody that would pull the stunts at the expense of the American people or anyone in this country, it's despicable. Eric Garner, I don't know, Garner, a thug on a street corner in New York City. Now, the government wants a crackdown on the sale of these loosies. Okay. So let's go here. Let me play this first. Okay. Let's go to the NBC. This is their news report. So let's go to that video, Josh, and play the news report on this first.
Eric Garner's family has been waiting 5 years to hear.
Finally, somebody has said that there's some information that this cop has done something wrong.
Today, a judge recommending that New York City police officer Daniel Pantaleo be fired for his role in the 2014 death of Eric Garner. The NYPD then announcing Pantaleo would be suspended without pay for 30 days, following what it called long-standing department policy. Pantaleo, who's been assigned to desk duty, was accused of using an illegal chokehold.
It's a horrible decision that came out today.
The outraged police union president blasted the judge's decision, saying Pantaleo was doing his job.
Found them guilty on recklessness because the community called and we responded and someone resisted? That's reckless? That's asinine.
At City Hall, protesters heckled Mayor Bill de Blasio, who wouldn't say whether he agreed with the judge's decision.
And I hope that this will now bring the Garner family a sense of closure.
Garner's death was ruled a homicide by a medical examiner, and his family was awarded nearly $6 million in a settlement with the city. The Justice Department and a grand jury both declined to bring charges against Pantaleo. But tonight, Garner's family is demanding Police Commissioner James O'Neill follow the judge's recommendation and fire Pantaleo.
But we don't want to wait no more. Make your decision, Mr. O'Neill, as soon as possible.
Tonight, Pantaleo's attorney says his client is disappointed with the judge's recommendation. Ultimately, it is up to the police commissioner to make the final decision, and that's expected to happen sometime this month.
Okay, that is a news report before the firing, okay? That's a news report. Pantaleo, no charges. This guy has not faced any charges. Federal government is not bringing charges. A judge made a recommendation, okay? I will tell you this, anytime someone is giving a press conference and the domestic terrorist, Al Sharpton, you see Al standing back there? I mean, well, I tell you what, I see Al Sharpton, I want to roll with the bad words, okay, but I won't. So that is the news report. De Blasio is trying to get on the debate stage. De Blasio is trying to build up some street cred with voters. The most hated mayor by law enforcement probably in the United States, Bill Jackass de Blasio. All right. So you see the report. All right. No discussion of what he was doing when the police brought this guy down. We're going to go over it. Selling loosies. They make it sound like, well, he was just selling cigarettes on the street corner. We'll get into that. That's big business in New York. So let's go to the other video, and this is a little bit of what took place. I'll tell you when I want to come back, Josh. At the CNN, the highly credited CNN News, the most trusted name in news. Every time I get up and I hear that, I'm like, wow. Okay, so CNN debate. Castro, this little guy again, right, starts talking about Pantaleo and Garner, and they had to bring the protesters out. Let's go to this video. I'll tell you when I want to come back, Josh.
Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo! Fire Pantaleo!
Score, and we will tax the hell out of the wealthy to make this a fairer country and to make sure it's a country that puts working people first.
Old language.
Stand by, Senator.
I will stand by.
Please stand by.
This was a good example the other day of the Department of Justice not going after Officer Pantaleo. That, Officer Pantaleo used a chokehold that was prohibited by NYPD. He did that for 7 seconds, 11 different times. Eric Garner said that he couldn't breathe. He knew what he was doing, that he was killing Eric Garner, and yet he has not been brought to justice. That police officer should be off the street.
Let me tell you, I know the Garner family. They've gone through extraordinary pain. They are waiting for justice, and they're going to get justice. There's finally going to be justice. I have confidence in that. In the next 30 days in New York. You know why? Because for the first time, we are not waiting on the federal Justice Department, which told the city of New York that we could not proceed because the Justice Department was pursuing their prosecution. And years went by, and a lot of pain accrued. And in the meantime, what I'm working on is making sure, and I have for 5 years, there will never be another tragedy. There will never be another Eric Garner, because we're changing fundamentally how we police.
Thank you. You heard earlier Mayor de Blasio respond to Secretary Castro on the question of why the police officer who killed Eric Garner is still on the NYPD. Was that response adequate? Please respond.
When you know, because you have a video, when you know he said, "I can't breathe," so many times over and over again, when you know he used an illegal chokehold, that person should be fired. And if I was the mayor, I'd fire him. But as president, I would make sure that we had a full investigation, that the report would be made public. And if I wasn't satisfied, we would have a consent decree.
Well, we all just decided that we were going to express our views about Mayor de Blasio's lack of leadership for his failure to fire Daniel Pantaleo, the killer of Eric Garner. The man who died, who was choked to death in front of the whole world, has been allowed to continue to enrich himself in the city of New York by remaining on the police force. He wants to get up and proclaim himself to be a progressive. Well, show us your progressive credentials. Don't sit there and say you want to create a more equitable society for everyone, while back at home you're allowing police officers to kill without any recourse or accountability.
Fire Pantaleo. Justice Department did not bring charges against Pantaleo. De Blasio, Gillibrand, Castro, Kamala Harris, all trying to get votes. Now, the one thing I want you to notice here, and the reason I bring this up, and then I will wrap this up. Let's go to Josh. Let's go to number, and we'll fly through here really quick. De Blasio said, "We are going to change how we police." Okay. Now, both of the videos that we just watched, NBC, okay, report, and that video, nobody talks about Garner was breaking the law. We obviously know that Democrats do not care about that. Let's go to 37. This is MSNBC. New York fires Officer Daniel Pantaleo for chokehold in Eric Garner's death. Let's go to number 38. This is on July 31st. And this is where Castro goes after de Blasio. All right. Number 39, this is on the debate stage. Okay. This is July 31st. Kirsten Gillibrand goes after de Blasio and says, I would fire him today or whatever. Okay. Here's number 40, Kamala Harris trying to get in on the action. Number 40, let me go through this and then we're going to talk about Lucy's and close this up. There she is. And how disgusting that a debate stage and trying to get votes is why Michael Pantaleo is fired today. It was a judge's recommendation. Okay. It wasn't a decision. You got to keep in mind, a judge's recommendation reprimand is not a decision. So they keep telling you it was the judge's decision. No, it was a recommendation from a judge. Nobody is looking at the background on this judge. Let's go to number 41. As you see, they continue to talk about the chokehold. All right. Let's see what else I have here on that. And then we'll go to, let's go to 47, Josh. All right. NBC News, New York PD fires Officer Daniel Pantaleo for chokehold in Eric Garner's death. At no time is there any discussion of enforcing the law. We're going to change how we police. I tell you what, better get ready, folks. Nothing on that. Then let's go to, like I said this morning, we showed you number 50, Newsom out there, Gavin Newsom. California raises the bar for use of deadly police force, passes one of the strictest use of force laws in the USA. So you got police officers now saying, should I shoot? Can I shoot? I would like to see the police academy now, not the comedy. Okay. I would like to see all of the rule changes and how the police academy, I'd like to see the instruction there now. Okay. Number 51, California raises the bar again here, 4:07 a.m. this morning, CNN. Number 52, 4:06 this morning, James O'Neill, New York City Police Commissioner. He doesn't care. These guys do not care. They get another job just like that. They serve at the pleasure of the mayor. Mayor said, fire him. NYPD officer fired. Chokehold death. Okay. And here we go. Just go with number 53. There's a nice little clip that CNN put together. 4:06 again this morning. Pantaleo used chokehold in Garner's 2014 death. Now you do realize, let's stop there for a second. The truth is not in CNN. The truth is not in the Democrats. The truth is not in the corrupt, #corrupt corporate deep state media. The Department of Justice did not bring charges against Daniel Pantaleo. If you look at the screen, it says Garner, the chokehold on Garner in 2014. It looks like the Obama administration could have gotten involved for their cause to do the right thing. It's never about doing the right thing, people. Never. And that's a long time, but it's not. If this was all about the death of an innocent man that has a wonderful family that went to work every day and came home and watched TV with his children and helped his children with homework and went out and got a gallon of milk and loaf of bread and came back home, then in 2014, the Obama administration would have had 2 years under Loretta Lynch, if I remember, to do the right thing. Am I correct? It's 2014. This is not about the right thing. This is about Democrats doing anything to get on a debate stage and try to get some polling numbers with the black community, black voters. Number 54, NYPD. There's a nice picture. There's Eric. I mean, What a family man, right? And then number 55, there's never showing the pictures of Eric standing on the corner, you know, breaking the law. There's no discussion of the law, right? No. Breaking the law. This is Eric Garner. This is the chokehold Pantaleo was putting down on a guy. Okay. So now, that being said, let's go to the great government. All right. And let's go to number 11, Josh. Put up number 11. Now, this is the state of New York. All right. Now, the state, I don't know what a pack costs. I think it's like $10, $11 or $9 or $10, maybe $11, $12. I don't know. This is New York State. The state excise tax rate is $4.35 per pack of 20 cigarettes. $4.35 per tax. That's the state. This has nothing to do with federal, no other tax. This is the state of New York, okay? $4.35. So if you buy a pack of cigarettes, the state of New York grabs $4.35, 20 cigs, loosies. The New York City local excise tax is $1.50 per pack, bringing the combined rate for the package of 20 cigarettes purchased in New York City $5.85. Now, we're not going to discuss right, wrong on cigarettes and all the above. I don't care. We're not getting into that. But every time a pack of cigarettes is sold in New York City, between the state and the city, they get $5.85. Wow. So that is major income. So what do they have to prevent? Bootleg cigarettes being brought into New York City. It's a big business, folks. Bootleg cigarettes coming into New York City with no tax. And guys standing on a corner selling a loosie one at a time. That's it. These guys, Eric Garner was not running a legit business on a corner where he was paying the tax, and he had a federal and state and city tax ID number. He was not going home and doing his tax statement and saying, I sold, 400 loosies this week, single cigarettes. Here is the tax for New York. Here is the tax for the city and the federal. He did not. No, he was selling bootleg, a major problem in New York City. Cigarettes, tax-free, as loosies on the corner. And I will tell you why he was taken down that day is because they won't tell it. The piece of garbage, de Blasio, the piece of garbage in upstate New York, Cuomo or whatever his name is, governor, okay, Fredo 2 or whatever, they will not tell you the reason Garner and so many others have been taken down in the city is because you've got Mayor de Blasio and you've got these others pounding the table, calling the police commissioner and saying, we're losing thousands of tax dollars in loose cigarette sales. It has to be stopped. There was you look it up. There was a major demand put on the NYPD to stop this for no other reason. Because of taxes, the greedy New York City tax of $1.50 a pack and $4.35 to the state. So every time Eric Garner took 20 cigarettes, stood on the corner, and sold one at a time, the state of New York with New York City lost $5.85 every pack. That's why the city took him down. From instruction from the Democrats, get our taxes. So the tax collector killed Eric Garner. That's who killed Eric Garner. The tax collector. That's my opinion, okay, of who killed Eric Garner. Now let me go over this. Get one more in here. I had an article I wanted to bring up. The Daily Beast. Eric Garner was choked to death for selling loosies. A grand jury has refused to indict the officer responsible for Eric Garner's death. Now we need to change the insane policies that led to his killing. Now, the insane policies that they're claiming that led to his killing, the controversial deaths of African Americans, Michael Brown and Ferguson and Eric Garner in Staten Island, at the hands of white police officers, don't just speak to racial divides and race questions of discriminatory law enforcement in America. At no time did they talk about these people broke the law, period. But no, we have to talk about the changing of how we police. I want to see if I have one more. New York City NYPD officer Daniel Pantaleo and Eric Garner's chokehold death should be fired. Judge recommends. Okay. Judge recommended that. Let me see if I have. New York Times this morning, Eric Garner's death will not lead to federal charges for NYPD officer 5 years after Mr. Garner's dying words, "I can't breathe," become a rallying cry. Attorney General William P. Barr orders the case to be dropped. Okay. Folks, the grand jury, what are you going to do with a grand jury that will not indict? It went before the grand jury. See if I have another article on that. Went before the grand jury, said, nope, we're not indicting him. Why didn't they? Michael Pantaleo, you will remember that name as liberal Democrats disarm police officers. You will remember that name. I tell you what, I understand. I never want to come on here and say that a police officer will not fulfill their duty to protect and serve the people. I don't want to do that. But so let's just say if it was me, okay, if I'm a police officer and I got 30 years and I retire and I got my benefits, Pantaleo, boom, okay? They're trying to get him reinstated now so he can get his benefits. But if I'm a police officer, 27 years on the force, I got 3 years left. I don't care if you're beating the hell out of each other. I don't care what the hell you're doing. I'm not getting involved. Nothing's going on my record. I'm not going to internal affairs and being have an inquisition into me and my enforcing the law. No, I'm not doing it. And I'll tell you what, you're seeing the results. So I want to make sure I look in this camera and tell you, I am not disrespecting law enforcement, period. But if I was wearing a badge today in New York City and somebody's selling a Lucy, I'd just walk right by. To hell with it. Ain't worth it. Worked my whole life, put my life on the line for all of these Democrats. And all of these Democrats and a political terrorist, a domestic terrorist like Al Sharpton and people like that to go after me for enforcing the law, not going to do it. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. I want to get into so many other things. I probably got stuck on that a little longer than I should have. We're going to take a break. When we get back, Planned Parenthood, the economy, I mean, the recession that's just around the corner. Like if you run around the corner, you can see it hanging and looming over there to come in at any time. As the media says, the president is not accepting it, but behind the scenes in the White House, they're worried about it. That's what the media is telling you. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. Let's take a little break, Josh, and we'll be right back.